Chapter 9 The Yoga of the Royal Secret. About this chapter. In this chapter, Krishna promises to teach Arjuna the royal secret, which, by following the knowledge and wisdom contained, liberation or moksha is assured to be most direct and within reach. He offers this knowledge to Arjuna because he was willing to listen with trust and faith. Krishna lets Arjuna know that this secret is learned by direct experience to be easily and joyfully practiced, and that it lasts forever. He shares that those that do not know him will not experience this and will return to the path of life and death. This teaching summarizes all Vedic philosophies and is the essence of all wisdom and spiritual reality. Krishna teaches that he, or God, or higher consciousness, is everywhere and in everything. From the wind to each insect, to every man, he is there. He allows all to act of their own accord, and so he is within, yet detached from their experiences. He is involved, yet untouched by the experiences within him, and he does not interfere in the work of creation and maintenance. He is loving, has his own existence, and he reveals himself to those who love and revere him. He is the inexhaustible origin of every being. He can descend to the earth in human form, as Krishna, the man form here, and others such as Buddha, Christ, and saints and sages. But most do not and cannot recognize his transcendental nature and ability. The confidential knowledge that Krishna shares with Arjuna in this chapter is that he eternally enjoys loving relationships with his spiritual companions in a place beyond birth and death, and he invites all to join him there. An open-minded and trusting awareness allows one to see the hand of God or higher consciousness in every experience in the world. With such awareness, one can only appreciate and love the hand of creation. When this energy is directed with full-hearted loving for the hand of creation, man himself works from a space of love for the divine and works from an attitude of service to the higher consciousness or God. This is called bhakti in Sanskrit, meaning mutual devotion between higher consciousness and the self in all. Krishna lets Arjuna know that he is the origin, dissolution, and foundation, the resting place, and the eternal seed. In this chapter, Krishna encourages Arjuna to constantly experience God in all. He encourages anyone to worship anything that connects them to the divine nature that can be seen in forms, images, deities, the sun, the moon, or more abstract ideas like the whole universe or empty space. He encourages all to experience this in any form, male or female. Any and all are acceptable to connect a mind with divine energies, and although Krishna is male, he is always with his female counterpart Radha in essence. She personifies mercy and love, and Krishna is controlled by her love. Krishna teaches that nothing in this world belongs to man as we live in harmony with nature. We receive abundance from her. If we take without giving back, there are natural consequences that ensue through the law of karma. Thus, when loving abundance is being experienced by man, a sacrifice involving giving loving back to the world is absolutely necessary to maintain the balance in the world. Krishna tells Arjuna that loving sacrifices of any sort given to him, food, flowers, prayers, chants, songs of devotion, anything really, are all welcome to maintain balance. Important to note is that all types of faith and religions practiced by anyone are welcomed by Krishna, as he sees all routes of faithful worship leading to the same goal, connection to the divine. Krishna describes that every act, when considered as an offering to him, whether the food that is eaten or a suffering endured, can be offered to him. This is a yoga of renunciation. Such thoughts before eating create blessings in the food that is eaten, and many people do this regularly as they say prayers before they eat meals. It is a wonderful habit that Krishna explains to Arjuna in this chapter as one of many ways to show love for him. Krishna explains to Arjuna in this chapter that the best people are those that are willing to give up life for the benefit of other people, or those willing to give up life for God or higher consciousness. Both are seen as ultimate sacrifices. The worldly life is described as consisting of continuous change. Within people, most of all, through the body, mind, and intellect, but also in seasons, nature, politics, rulers, everything. All experiences are temporary, and joys will also bring sorrow in this world of duality. Focusing on one's higher nature allows one to enjoy the everlasting peace and bliss of oneness. Remember that this is also the space felt in deep sleep, which represents the feeling of oneness with divine energies. Imagine experiencing this also in waking. Arjuna learns that if the mind is trained to be consistently aligned with higher consciousness as the goal to be reached with devotion, which is what Krishna is suggesting to Arjuna, this is the space of such bliss. He assures Arjuna eternal liberation or moksha from such concentrated efforts. This is not a place that can be reached spontaneously. It is a goal to regularly and continuously work towards. When the mind gets distracted, it can be redirected through refocusing, through sincere love for the goal. Over time, this redirection becomes effortless and a natural way of being, as easy as the love a mother shares with her newborn child. In this chapter, we learn that the Bhagavad Gita recommends the middle path, not renouncing work, but do the action while leaving the result and anxiety of results to the higher consciousness. Every moment, the body and mind are constantly in action. The mind worries about what it hasn't done or has done in the past continuously. So no one can completely renounce action, but when the desire for results from an action are gone, the mind experiences much more ease. This is removing the ego from the action. So renunciation means acknowledging there is no need to achieve something for oneself, but rather as an offering to the higher self. This is giving up ownership for actions taken. Again, removing the ego-centered drive that wants the praise of the achievement. Remembering that giving and receiving is all about the devotion and the intention behind it. The same idea can shape the thinking behind eating, working, giving to charity, etc. Many religions and spiritual practices produce people that practice rituals and good actions out of fear of consequences, not getting to heaven. Yet Krishna reminds that the highest actions come from true intention and devotion, which lead to true union with one's higher self. Taking care of oneself and others is to be done with awareness of caring for all beings that have come from divine energies and are best cared for out of respect for that same divine energy. Each experience should keep such awareness in mind. This chapter reminds that results from any actions can be either good or not good, but if this mindful awareness is kept at the forefront of the mind, Krishna asks Arjuna to leave the results to the divine. This removes the result of any karma for the individual. If a mind is not attached with the result, there is no bondage to specific results. So either good results or poor results are experienced with an even mind from the individual performing as if he or she is an instrument in God's hands. Krishna assures Arjuna that such a person will reach the highest spiritual union. When knowledge of this truth is added to an action, it results in love for the Supreme. Some commentators on this subject have said that philosophy in action is the basis for religion. Religion involves love for the higher consciousness. Philosophy can only become love when carried through actual action. Krishna is reminding Arjuna to know that he is and will be the recipient of all that man does, and he is to be given credit for all action. This realization allows for liberation and moksha. Liberation can be achieved at once if man is able to let go of attachments in this way. Krishna makes it clear that he is the same consciousness in all living beings. He has no favorites and is not more in any one kind of being than any other. He is the same in all. This is again rising above the world of duality, where man has conditioned the self to like or dislike various things in the world. His love is also the same for all. Remember that any offerings made to the divine, including love, praise, or charity, is not because divine consciousness needs anything. The love in action helps each individual who is practicing with trust and faith. The rewards of union and moksha or liberation are assured to come to such individuals. The reader is reminded that any sacrifice always contains love. Even when someone loves money, they will naturally sacrifice time and other enjoyments to reach the goal of money earned through actions. The same happens when true love is directed to God or higher consciousness, which is helping each person achieve any heartfelt human desires. Chapter 9, The Yoga of the Royal Secret, for the Healthcare Guru. This is a very important chapter, and for those that do not believe in any type of God, whether in particular or in abstract form, many may feel the book has taken a direction into religiousness that they do not practice. It is important to see that Krishna is telling Arjuna that a person can choose to give credit to themselves or to a higher consciousness in this chapter. Both will achieve the desired results from knowledge and action. So if a person desires money, he or she can and will achieve this goal in this life or even in the afterlife. And if a person chooses to give themselves the credit of achieving the result or blaming themselves if the result is not achieved, both can be experienced. In healthcare, a person may desire most to help patients heal, and when they do, the healthcare provider may feel it was because of their knowledge and efforts that the patient got better. When they do not, the provider may feel it's because the patient did not comply fully with the recommendations provided, or that perhaps the provider was not able to provide the care truly necessary for healing, or there was no cure for the person with or without any healthcare provider. For those who do have faith in the divine, neither outcome is due to their good efforts, and the only thing to remember is that they did put their full good efforts into their care. This relieves a lot of mental anguish in times where outcomes are less than desired, and also encourages a person to pull out of an ego-centered experience when desired outcomes are achieved. The latter is the part that many minds do not find easy to do. Either outcome can be celebrated, as both are seen as the desired outcomes of a divine wisdom. Remember that such a wisdom is linked with very subtle energy. That is part of the life experience that is intended for each individual's journey. The celebration of this journey can be experienced through a healthcare provider that is aware of a union with that divine wisdom. Notice that this chapter also reminds each person that any religious or spiritual practice is accepted and loved by God or higher consciousness when knowledge combines with action through the power of love. Some healthcare providers may know that studies show that it is the therapeutic relationship that a provider has with his or her client that produces the best outcomes. We can notice that when we receive our clients from a full-hearted space that truly cares about their experience, the care is given and received from a different space than when we are not happy to be working with a particular client. When we are not happy, either because of personal concerns we are working through outside of work, or because of the energy the client brings to the space from their own recent or past experiences, the compassion and care level from the practitioner can change if we are not mindfully aware of our own thoughts, words, and actions. Think about the different experiences we encounter daily with our clients. For the client, they may not be feeling well in the moment. They may have had concerns in finding a parking spot. They may have arrived late to the appointment or they may just be in an argumentative mood. For the practitioner, we may have had an unsettling interaction with a family member, a colleague, or the patient we saw just before this one. Now recognize that it is only the healthcare provider that is truly in a position for giving lovingly in such a situation. Remember, it is our chosen and understood dharma, what should be done in our calling or profession. Whether we choose to give our human selves credit for our good work of mindfulness in our thoughts, words, and actions, or whether we thank God or higher consciousness for allowing us to maintain a positive space for the benefit of the client and the visit, is up to each individual. In understanding this chapter, each healthcare guru can now shed light on their own awareness of themselves. Understanding our own natures helps us understand why we do the things we do in our practice. What is the underlying belief? There may be faith in our own abilities, which does provide confidence in our work, and there may also be faith in a power beyond our own efforts that is helping in our work with clients. When we focus our attention on our faith in ourselves, we will experience the highs and the lows that are inherent in the experiences of the transactional world of duality. When we focus on a steady knowing of divine energy that flows through our thoughts, words, and actions, our own love for that energy allows a peaceful appreciation of each outcome, as we can think of ourselves as an instrument for divine energy. We can also understand that other instruments working in healthcare are also doing their best to help our clients or others too. This allows for us to have an even broader appreciation for entire healthcare teams, whether we work with them directly or not. If we credit ourselves for our actions, we may credit other great minds or providers from the same space. For example, if you value compassionate care, you will value compassionate care from other providers. If you value money, you may value the providers that seem to be doing well financially to care for clients. This is an important understanding as we think about where to refer our clients for additional care. It is also very important to try to understand the client's perspective and experience. Do clients feel they are letting you down if they haven't followed your directions fully or cannot afford the products or extra services you may offer? If they do not follow your suggestions, do you feel this will truly lead to a poor outcome? Or is it because of a loss of personal gain to you that you may be disappointed? Remember that when good action is being done, the best way to do the action is by removing the selfish gain from the experience to purely provide the care that is in your hands. You are the healer and not a particular product, program, or supplement. This chapter is truly for us all to look at our work and what drives our work, as well as our judgments, opinions, and biases towards ourselves and others. Remember that in this chapter, Krishna is sharing that all people are loved equally by God or higher consciousness. For those that are spiritual in their own hearts, this is a time to remember that most religions encourage people to shape their own thoughts, words, and actions from the examples of those before us. This is where the terms like Christ consciousness, Buddha nature, and Krishna consciousness have come from. All saints, sages, and gurus in history have been clear in sharing that whatever they are representing is what each person can also do. Now, personal biases can be explored here. If God loves all, can you see if you do too? Perhaps you look with pity at someone practicing a religion other than your own. Why? This chapter shows us that all that do their work from connection with whichever divinity they feel most drawn to are all heading to the same goal. We can celebrate the differences that also unite us as well, with full acceptance and acknowledgement of this truth. Now we can also look at other biases. When clients do not follow through on recommendations, or they consistently miss appointments, or they communicate with hostility towards us, how do we respond? With irritation and frustration, or with love and compassion for the human experience? Can we remember that we too have not been perfect in our thoughts, words, and actions in every moment? This means that even as we are working from our best energies, we have an awareness of times that we have not worked from such a space in our lives. Maybe some of us are rushed drivers or frustrated with kids or lazy with housework. So seeing any behavior that is not ideal from our clients can remind us of our own imperfections in our lives. Have we taken the time to forgive ourselves for such imperfections? It's only from such understanding and the actual work too on ourselves that we can be forgiven to others that we encounter in our healthcare practice. Remember also human nature. Often, when we are caring for those that are also related to us, we are in a space where we may more comfortably behave differently. This means that there may be more biases, more judgments, and more frustration. Some may have experienced that suggesting to a family member an action for health improvement is often received very differently from the family member than from a client. Yet another health professional may suggest the same recommendation, and the family member both hears it differently and may feel it's the first time someone has ever suggested the idea and may actually follow the suggestion. Smile. Understand human nature and that each person hears what they need to hear at the right time for them. This pulls us away from an ego attachment to the suggestion too. Recognize that the message was meant to be received from the family member, and now they have received it from the right place for them at the right time. The delivery was still stemming from the same divine energy that sent it through you too. For those that do not believe in religion or spirituality, one can choose to be simply more conscious and self-aware and be just a little better every day. We can look at our biases from this space too. How quickly we jump to opinions or judgments about others. We may be kinder to those from our own culture or neighborhood or country of origin because they're more like us. In improving ourselves, we can start looking for similarities between people, regardless of color, race, ethnicity, and even body type. If a large person comes to your practice, you may feel they are not taking care of themselves, and you may not be appreciating your natural metabolism rate that helps you stay slim even while eating large meals or not exercising regularly. And how do you treat people when you feel they fall short of what you believe deserves love and compassion? This is the time to sit and reflect upon our own biases and modify our level of acceptance for one and all. Remember that although this has been the direction of political correctness, it is truly a space of moral and ethical conduct that we can each consciously work towards as it is just right. This in itself is enough. This chapter is to help people take time to understand that we can always consciously participate in our interactions in every space, personal or professional, that we find ourselves in. Once we begin to be mindfully aware in each moment, this mannerism comes easily and naturally to each experience in our lives. What a peaceful and loving space to live and work from.